Hi, I'm Curt Frye, and in this movie, I would like to give you some information about how to effectively manage formulas in your Microsoft Excel worksheets. So I've started out with a formula that calculates the monthly payment for a loan, $425,000, 30 years at 12 periods per year, representing the month, so it's 360, and an interest rate of 5.75%. And then in cell B8, I have the payment calculated, and I use the inputs from above. I'll get into this more in a minute. But one thing to note beforehand is that you multiply the value by -1 because otherwise Excel displays it as a negative number because it is an expense or a debit from your account. So just to show you what it looks like if I remove -1, I'll click in the formula bar, remove the multiplication, and enter, and you see I get a negative number. Now I'll press Control Z to go back to what I had before. So what are some things that you can do in Excel to manage your formulas? Well, the first, of course, is that if you click a cell, then on the formula bar, you see the formula in the active cell. If you want to see all of the formulas in your worksheet, then you can make a change to the way that the formulas are displayed. So I'll go up to the Formulas tab of the ribbon, and then in the Formula Auditing group, I'll click Show Formulas. And what that does is change the look of the worksheet, and you can see that instead of the result in B8, I just have the formula. And if I click away, it stays there. The problem, of course, is that I no longer know the result. I don't know how much I'm going to be paying every month. So I'll go back up and click Show Formulas to return to the previous view. And instead, I will use the relatively new function called Formula Text to display the formula in cell B8. So in cell B10, which is next to my label, I'll type equal and then Formula Text. And then the reference will be cell B8. I'll just type it in and enter. And there you go. You can see the formula as it is created within cell B8, and you get to see the result. So it takes up a little bit more room, but you get to see both the formula and the result at the same time. So now let's take a look at the formula in cell B8 in a little more detail. So I'll double click, and I'll work within the body of the cell rather than on the formula bar. So when you're calculating a payment for a loan that's going to be paid off over time, then you have the rate, and that is the interest rate, in this case in cell B5, 5.75%, but then you have to divide that by the number of periods in a year. And that's because the interest isn't being applied at 5.75% every month. So instead, you want to divide by the number of periods, which is 12. So if you had a 12% interest rate, then the period per year would be 12, and the incremental interest per period, per month in this case, would be 1%. And we're below 0.5% because we are below 6% for the annual interest rate. And then you have the number of periods, which is the number of years multiplied by the periods per year, and then the present value, which is in cell B3. And we also don't have to worry about the type of loan. You can go into the formula help if you're looking for more details on that. But let's say that you are creating this worksheet and it will be used by someone who doesn't know that you need to divide the interest rate by the number of periods per year. So B5 divided by 12. What you can do is to add a note using the n function. So the n function, and I'll press escape to move away for a second, has an interesting property. So if you type n and then a value inside of the parentheses, I'll type true and enter, you get a value of 1. If, on the other hand, you type anything except the word true, and capitalization doesn't matter, so I'll do equal n, and then in double quotes, divide rate, just as an example, and enter, you get a value of 0. So what you can do inside of your formula is to use the end function to add 0 based on the text that you enter as a comment for an argument within your formula. So I will delete what I have in cell D7. So that's selected, just press delete. And then I'll double click in cell B8 and then put the insertion point to the right of the 12. And then I'll do plus, and remember we're adding 0. So that'll be plus n. And then in parentheses, in quotes, I will say divide annual rate by number of periods per year. So I have my n, and it looks like I need to add another right parentheses. There we go. So I have the rate, and then I have the number of periods total, and the present value of the loan, which is the amount we're borrowing, multiplied by -1. Press enter, and I get the same value as before. And also, the formula text formula that I created in cell B10 has updated to indicate the full extent of the formula, including the comment. Using the end function to add a comment within a formula is kind of a hack, but if you want to explain something in just a few words and you want to make sure that they won't be deleted, like say if you have a text box, then adding it to the interior of a formula is actually a really good way to do that. So I hope you found these tips useful, and if you did, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.